Hey there everyone, good to have you all back. Now, today we're going to be covering a really cool 3-pack set review. This is the special color set for the Hyakushiki, the Zeta, and the Gundam Mark II. So, first of all, we're going to begin with the Hyakushiki. And what can I say? This is the same exact kit that we got back in 2016 with the high grade revive. But unlike that one, which had a pretty nasty kind of gold injection, this is coated in that spectacular gold that the master grade is. Now, this kit has all the bells and whistles that the original did, other than the color. The color itself, all the gold has been replaced with the gold metallic plating, and all the greys have been replaced with metallic gunmetal. The blues, a metallic navy blue, and the red, a really nice metallic champagne red. Now, with this, it does mean that you are getting a really, really nice finish, as it doesn't separate all those different colors that you have included. Now, seeing as it does have a little bit of color differences, I did go by myself and look at all the colors on the set and the kit, and I decided to give it a little bit of a silver accent to the piston in front. But all in all, let's go over the articulation of this kit, and I'm really impressed with what it has to offer, to be honest. Seeing as this is a kit from 2016, you're going to get a solid foundation and a solid kit. Now, moving on, from the head, we have a nice forward and back motion, and it's got a little bit of blockage when you turn it left and right due to just the collar being a little bit high. But all in all, if you just tilt the head up a little bit, you're still going to get a very nice head motion. Now, moving on from the head, we're going to go down to the arms. The arm can go about parallel to the floor, and it is blocked off a little bit by the shoulder armor, but as you can see, the shoulder flap can articulate itself, and still, it is quite a nice range of motion, I find. But moving on from that, the arm can rotate 360 degrees on the ball joint, but unfortunately it does get blocked off by the wings and the back. But if you pivot the wings at a certain motion, you should be able to get more motion out of the arm. Moving on, the torso has a nice crunch to it, which I find is always really nice with articulation with kits. Now, as you can see, sometimes it can pop out. This is due to the fact that this kit does rely on polycabs. But other than that, it is a simple put back together. It can rotate 360 degrees as well, so you're going to get a nice rotation from the kit. And like I said, it's sturdy. And I just find that the side skirts and the front skirts are really well articulated. They are fully out of the way. So, when it came to pulling the legs out for the splits, guys, you're gonna get the splits with this kit. It is such a lovely design, and the waist and the hips joints themselves are super simple, but it's done in a way where it's not needed to have an overly complicated design. You're going to get a lovely rotation out the legs themselves, and sometimes with these kind of metallic kits you are going to get a little bit of sort of sag because of the coating of the kit itself, but this kit is just absolutely amazing. You're going to get a nice double bend at the knee, and honestly, you're going to be able to get some really nice posing out of this. For the legs and the feet, I'd say that I'm really impressed with it. For the feet, you're going to get some really nice left and right bend and up and down bends. And the ankle itself can pivot within the joint to bring the foot slightly forward and slightly back. And what can I say? I absolutely love the articulation on this kit. Super impressive. Now, focusing primarily on the arm, I've removed it from the kit so it's easier to show you. You're going to get really nice wrist articulation. It's a simple ball joint, same as most kits. And you're going to get a nice double bend at the arm, giving you almost 90 degrees. but all in all, it's not terrible. Now moving on to the backpack itself, the fact that you're able to fold the winglets back help you to get this really, really mean and cool looking aura to the kit. And honestly, the Hyakushiki itself is a pretty intimidating design, and I love just how well you can pull this off. Posing it is a treat, and I've got it up here on an action base, and oh, what can I say? This kit is amazing. I love everything about it. Now, moving on to the accessories that come included, you're going to get 2 beam sabers included. You're going to get some regular holding hands, beam sabers themselves, the rocket launcher that can attach to the back, and the beam rifle. And as stated, the beam sabers effect parts, which are in this nice yellow. Now, I enjoy this, and it's a pretty good spread of parts, I'd say. And I'd say you'd be getting quite well out of it. When focusing on the articulation for the winglets themselves, as I stated, they can fold back to give you this nice V design, making it look slightly more angular and faster. And they have a ball joint attached to them that allow them to pivot back and forth, and also a peg that allows them to swing 360 degrees. And what can I say? It's just a lovely simple design for the backpack that looks awesome. All in all, the Hyakushiki from this color set, I want to give it a nice rating. And honestly, from the feel and what I've had of it so far, out of 10, I'm going to give this kit a solid 8. Moving on, we've got the Gundam Mark II. Now, this is a really cool upgrade to the original Gundam's design. I feel like it's a very, very, very good representation of what the Gundam would have looked like when it was more heavily armoured. Now, with this you're going to get a lot of really nice armaments, and with this nice pearl silver coating, it gives it more of a interesting look compared to the original colour scheme, where it has been altered with a complete metallic overhaul. Overall, this kit is so nice and detailed for just a kit that came out back in 2015. Now, the Gundam Mark II boasts some colour inaccuracies with some colour correcting stickers included in this kit. I haven't used any, as I do prefer to keep my kits without any stickers. The only stickers I have used are those in the head and the eyes. Moving on to articulation, the head, although very good, can be a little bit limited at times, as you can see, due to the collar itself. And you have to kind of wiggle your head around a little bit to try and free it from that kind of stuck position. Unfortunately, you're going to get a nice head tilt due to it being a ball joint at the head and also a hinge on the neck. So you're going to get some pretty good poses looking up. Now, moving on, the kit itself has a pretty nice crunch to it, but I found that with this version, I'm not sure if it's because of the injection metallic, it seems to want to pop off at the center of the chest quite a lot. Simple fix though, you can always put it back. But, well, moving on from there, we're going to go with the leg articulation, which starts at the hips. Now, the side skirts and front skirts move out of the way. The side skirts barely move, but I feel like with the design that this kit already has, it helps to move the legs enough that it doesn't really need that much articulation from the side skirt itself. Bringing the front skirts forward, it allows you to move basically the leg 90 degrees off the ground, which I feel is more than enough for what you're going to need for posing. Now, the knee itself is going to have a double bend, and for some reason it feels like it's a little bit limited, but it's not awful where it feels like it's just horrific articulation. Moving on from there, my personal favourite part of the articulation is the ankles, because you can get just a lot from it. And it feels like that point down and that point up is really, really smooth, and you're going to get some decent tilt from left to right. And overall, it's just a solid kit. Although I will have to admit that one of my polycaps inside of the right leg is a little loose for my liking. And you're going to get this really nice little piece of articulation that pops out from the back skirt that is going to allow you to attach the rocket launcher to. That way you have a piece of storage for the weapons, which I love it when you've got storage like these beam saber holders in the backpack that also articulate. Moving on, we're going to go with the arms now, and I'm honestly pretty surprised because when building this, I thought the arms would be a little bit limited due to the fact of the design having a little bit of a bracer sort of design within the shoulders. But as you're going to see, this kit boasts some pretty good arm articulation moving 90 degrees upwards off the ground. There is no blockage, to be honest, for what you're going to get. Now, the shoulders themselves move very nicely to allow you to get that 90 degrees. And when it comes to the actual elbow joint, it's a lovely double jointed elbow that's going to give you a really nice tilt inwards into the arm. And the ball joint is just your regular ball joint, and it's going to give you about the normal range of articulation that a ball joint would. Moving on, we're going to have the accessories, and this kit comes with some lovely accessories. You're going to get a lot of this kind of marking, unfortunately though, due to the silver aspects. You're going to come with a beam saber, a rocket launcher, a head armaments, the shield, and the beam sabers and sabers themselves. And what I like is that the head mount is actually a clipping motion onto the head, which I feel is really cool because when it kind of clips to the head, it feels very secure. Throwing up in some poses, and what can I say? This kit is really cool looking. It's obviously heavily inspired by the original RX-78-2, but with a flared kind of more militaristic twist to it. Overall, I really like this Gundam Mark II. Obviously, it has some issues that kind of plague the design, with the neck being a little bit limited due to the collar and the design itself of the head. But I feel like the kit is a little bit let down by the injection material that kind of loosens the kit up. But overall, solid 7 out of 10 kit. Moving on, we've got the big boy of the set, which I have to say unfortunately let me down. The Zeta here is the high grade 0088 version. This is a P Bandai version, which is a added upgrade to the original revived kit, which edits the wings to be a little bit more color accurate, but at the same time not as much. I have personally gone in and gone with a metallic black marker and adjusted these colors myself, as I do not like the use of those massive black stickers. Spinning this around, it is a really nice kit to look at, but unfortunately it is a really loose kit, and I found it's a really big hassle to actually move this kit around. Like, as you can see, the neck is extremely loose, and I'm not sure if it's because of the injection material. Adding on to that, the neck articulation is super limited due to the head's design, and it gets blocked off by the collar a lot. And to be honest, it's a little disappointing because of how cool the Zeta looks. And honestly, the Zeta has one of the coolest Gundam heads around. Moving the arms, you're going to get 90 degrees due to the shoulder itself moving at a awkward point. But it feels like I'm putting pressure where I don't want to in the arm. Trying to pivot the arm, you're going to get some weird motion in the shoulder itself, as there is a hinged part that's within the arm. Although, you're going to get a really nice double bend at the elbow. Although, I feel like it is a little bit loose for my liking. Moving on from the arms itself, I feel like with this kit, the wrists and the hands pop off a lot due to the polycaps, and it's honestly quite annoying. When it comes to the crunch, you're going to get a decent crunch out of this kit. And unlike the Mark II, it is a little bit more of a solid fit, but then again, I feel like this kit itself is pretty loose. Due to the side skirts and the polycaps also being a little bit on the looser side, not awful, but you are going to get a little bit of a loose fit. The legs can move 90 degrees from the ground, which is really nice. And it has a reverse movement due to the transformation into the Wave Rider mode. But you're going to get a really nice double bend either way. Now, another part of this kit that really has let me down is the foot articulation. Not because it's terrible, just because it's so loose, as I'm about to show you. When we talk about the foot, they tilt down due to the articulation for the transformation, but on this, I don't know if it's the injection, but it feels so loose, and just, it feels like anytime I tap on it, it just is so loose. And to reiterate, that head feels like it's just constantly wobbling around. The wings themselves are articulated as well, but due to the middle part, it barely moves around at all, but you can crunch it in and out. And the actual kind of nose area can pivot back up. You don't need to, but it can. But moving on from there, we're going to go with the accessories. When talking about the accessories for the Zeta, it's going to come with the ultra long beam rifle included with this version. With this, you're going to come with that with the kit. You're going to also get an adapter for the Wave Rider mode, which comes with this. Unfortunately, it is parts formation compared to the Master Grade. You're also going to get beam sabers, beam effects, grenade launchers that strap to the wrists, and the beam shield included. Which I feel is a bit weird considering the beam shield is a little bit small for the Zeta's design, personally. Throwing this up in some poses, you can get some pretty good poses out of this, but again, I have to reiterate, it wasn't fun getting this into poses, because of just how loose these parts were. You're able to get some nice poses, but again, very loose. Moving on, this is what the Zeta looks like when put into its Wave Rider mode. And like I said before, it is parts formation, meaning that you have to take it apart and put it back together. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't look really cool. Honestly, I feel like this is a little bit more solid than the actual mobile suit itself, which is a little disappointing because the Zeta is such a cool design. But then again, depending on what you like, you might want to display this in Wave Rider mode or the actual mobile suit mode. This is what you're left over with after the parts formation, which is just the core of the torso. All in all, I'm really let down by the Zeta because I was expecting quite a lot, and honestly I feel like this kit, unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give it a rating of about 4 out of 10. Wrapping up, this was a really interesting 3-pack, and it was honestly a really interesting build process having to build all 3 kits. Obviously I have my personal opinion on the kits I prefer, that being the Hyakushiki. But it's not to say that with a little bit of extra effort, you can't make these kits really good altogether. And I feel like Bandai really went above and beyond when it came to just making this 3-pack. I know there is a original version that came out a lot earlier, but honestly, I can't stop stressing enough how good the Hyakushiki is in this set. And overall, I feel like this kit, if you're a really big Zeta fan, I definitely recommend it. Throwing it up to the really cool exclusive action base, you can get these 3 in a really nice aerial pose. Now, wrapping up with this, I want to thank everyone for coming and watching, and there is more content on my channel, feel free to watch, and I want to thank you all, and like, comment and subscribe if you've enjoyed my content, and always feel free to come back and check out any new content. Anyway, that's it from me guys. I'll see you next time.